These gray wolves have developed somewhat of a resistance to the radiation, who had that gene that was resistant to cancer. And so
in the radioactive shadows of Chernobyl, reality warps into something haunting and surreal. From wolves eerily immune to cancer, mysterious black frogs thriving in lethal radiation, to chilling UFO sightings forcibly silenced by fearful authorities, each revelation pulses with dread. Why bury these unsettling truths beneath lies and silence? Stay with us as we unveil the 15 Chernobyl mysteries they didn't want you to know about. Radiation Surge 2022. When the shadows fell upon Chernobyl in February 2022, a quiet menace stirred, unseen yet undeniable. As Russian forces stormed Ukraine, the once-abandoned nuclear ruins whispered a chilling secret. Radiation levels inexplicably surged, dancing ominously across sensor screens, triggering global alarm. Suddenly, humanity's worst fears loomed once again, resurrecting nightmares from a catastrophe long buried but never forgotten. Authorities scrambled desperately for answers, hurriedly blaming equipment malfunctions or accusing unseen hands wielding cyber attacks. Yet beneath their anxious reassurances lingered a sinister suspicion. Could sabotage have crept silently into the heart of history's gravest nuclear scar? Then, almost as swiftly as it appeared, the radiation anomaly vanished, leaving experts puzzled and deeply wary. Whispers echoed in cautious corners. Was someone meticulously erasing their tracks, concealing actions more dangerous than mere technological pranks? Amid wartime's chaos, the truth grew murkier, buried beneath layers of secrecy and suspicion. Yet a chilling question persisted, gnawing at humanity's conscience. Who dared interfere with such volatile measures, risking the unleashing of an unimaginable horror? Was it psychological warfare, a ruthless game designed to instill terror? Or had darker motives stirred a sleeping beast deep within the zone's radioactive embrace? To this day, the shadows guard their secrets closely, feeding endless speculation without solace or resolution. But know this, whatever transpired in those bleak hours of uncertainty, the architects behind it played a perilous game, determined to conceal their deeds from prying eyes, no matter the cost. Radioactive bore secrets. What lurks within the dark forests of Chernobyl, decades after disaster unleashed invisible devastation? Scientists recently discovered an unsettling truth hidden beneath the forest floor. Wild boars roaming the exclusion zone remain fiercely radioactive, not solely due to the infamous 1986 nuclear catastrophe, but because they feast upon subterranean delicacies tainted with lethal radiation. These boars relentlessly pursue truffles, fungi buried within soil contaminated by cesium-137, a sinister remnant from Cold War-era nuclear testing. For years, researchers struggled to comprehend why radiation lingered stubbornly within these creatures, refusing to dissipate like it did in other wildlife. Their disturbing conclusion: boars possess an unnaturally potent capacity for absorbing and storing radioactive elements, essentially transforming into living reservoirs of nuclear contamination. But a deeper fear emerges from this revelation. Could these seemingly innocuous animals become agents of radioactive spread, quietly carrying contamination beyond the shadowy borders of the exclusion zone? The chilling uncertainty leaves scientists grappling with scenarios that echo far beyond the devastated landscape, potentially threatening ecosystems untouched by the original disaster. Chernobyl's genetic dogs. How could life persist in a place where humanity itself dares not linger? Within the crumbling streets of Chernobyl, amidst ruins frozen in time, roam creatures whose very existence challenges scientific understanding. Dogs, long abandoned, have formed isolated packs within the radioactive confines of the exclusion zone. Yet, contrary to expectation, radiation has not twisted them into monstrous forms. Instead, something far more profound has occurred. Scientists, once expecting grotesque mutations, recently unveiled a startling truth. These animals are genetically distinct, not from mutation, but from decades of forced isolation. Their genetic divergence emerged naturally, a stark testament to life's relentless determination to adapt, even within the most lethal environments ever created by human folly. Yet this discovery raises troubling questions. Precisely how have these creatures thrived within conditions that defy logic and biology alike? Rather than succumbing, these dogs adapted, becoming living evidence of resilience in a radioactive landscape. The implications are unsettling, hinting at unknown genetic mysteries that lie hidden within the zone, perhaps transforming other wildlife in ways yet unimagined. Scientists now face a haunting realization. These genetically unique dogs are not merely survivors. They embody life's uncanny ability to adapt to humanity's darkest legacy. Hidden within their genetic code could lie secrets of survival, adaptation, and perhaps even redemption. Yet their existence remains enigmatic, a silent challenge, defying scientific explanation and reminding humanity of nature's enduring power, even amid devastation. Jackals in the shadows. Did you think you knew all the secrets hiding within Chernobyl's abandoned wasteland? Think again. Recently, something creepy went down inside the infamous exclusion zone. Something even scientists didn't see coming. Golden jackals, mysterious creatures usually found far south, are suddenly popping up in Chernobyl. Footprints discovered near the eerie ghost village of Lubyanka confirm their chilling presence, leaving everyone asking, what drove these predators deep into radioactive territory? For real. Nobody expected jackals here. They've silently invaded a place humans deserted decades ago, lurking quietly among the shadows and rusted remains. But the bigger question is why? Are these jackals drawn to Chernobyl by hunger, or could something stranger, even darker, be attracting them? Scientists are baffled. These animals have traveled hundreds of miles northward, thriving in a place humans can't safely enter without hazmat suits. Something about Chernobyl seems to be calling to wildlife in ways we can't fully understand. So, could this jackal invasion mean the zone is hiding another unsettling secret? What else is moving into this forgotten land, waiting just out of sight? One thing's for sure. The jackals aren't leaving anytime soon, and maybe they're trying to tell us something we aren't ready to hear. Bridge of Hidden Truths. Some places conceal truths far darker than the legends we tell. At the heart of Chernobyl's tragedy stands a bridge, ominously named the Bridge of Death. Popularized by HBO's haunting portrayal, it became symbolic of unspeakable horror. Civilians gathered in tragic ignorance, inhaling radioactive ash drifting from the burning reactor. Yet, beneath this harrowing narrative lies uncertainty, a shadowy doubt cast by incomplete records and conflicting survivor testimonies. Historical evidence offers no clear validation of mass casualties occurring there. While the bridge undeniably lay close to the disaster zone, the grim image of countless innocents succumbing instantly to radiation exposure may be more myth than reality. This disturbing contradiction compels a troubling question. Why amplify a potentially exaggerated tale of mass death? Decades later, the ambiguity persists, perpetuated by incomplete official accounts and hesitant authorities, fueling suspicion that something deeper remains hidden. The bridge, real or mythologized, serves as a gateway into broader mysteries, challenging what we believe about the disaster. If the tragedy at this bridge is questionable, what else might be obscured beneath layers of secrecy? Perhaps the Bridge of Death is not simply a memorial to tragedy, but a symbol of a deeper concealment, a hint that darker truths remain deliberately buried beneath Chernobyl's radioactive dust. It stands as a chilling reminder. Some stories told to the world are crafted not to reveal, but to conceal. Legasov's secret confession. Just before silence claimed him forever, Valery Legasov captured a truth too dangerous to live freely. Haunted by the horror he'd witnessed, the renowned scientist secretly documented the hidden realities of the Chernobyl disaster. Truth so unsettling, the Soviet Union's highest powers sought desperately to bury them. Knowing his time was fleeting, Legasov committed his revelations onto tapes, his voice heavy with anguish as he detailed chilling negligence, lethal shortcuts, and institutional deception. These recordings were more than mere confessions. They stood as his final act of defiance, a courageous refusal to let lies prevail over lives lost. He understood all too well that in exposing these secrets, he was sealing his fate. Yet, mysteriously, Legasov's tapes vanished for years, withheld from the eyes and ears of the world. Questions multiplied. Who ensured their disappearance? Whose interests were powerful enough to hide such explosive truths? Even these days, unsettling murmurs persist, suggesting Legasov's tapes contain deeper, unresolved truths still locked away, concealed by powerful hands reluctant to release their grip on the past. His recordings remain a haunting testament to bravery in the face of silence, waiting patiently for someone bold enough to confront their buried secrets. Legasov ensured his truth would never die quietly. The question now remains: When those hidden words finally surface, will humanity have the courage to listen to his final, chilling confession? Chernobyl's silent epidemic. See, most people have heard about thyroid cancer cases linked to Chernobyl. But what they're not telling you is that the real number of victims might be terrifyingly higher. Thousands more across Europe, quietly suffering, unnoticed. The culprit? A radioactive villain called iodine-131, whose deadly reach was massively underestimated. After the disaster, officials assured everyone that the threat was minimal. But behind closed doors, experts warned that iodine-131 had silently spread far beyond the so-called safe zones, quietly contaminating food, water, and even the air people breathed. The result? A hidden epidemic of thyroid cancers still emerging decades later. This wasn't just a simple oversight. Authorities knew more than they admitted, deliberately downplaying risks to avoid panic, leaving millions exposed without even realizing it. Entire generations are unknowingly carrying radioactive scars from a disaster they thought barely touched them. But why keep such a haunting truth buried? Who benefits from keeping us in the dark about the real human cost of Chernobyl? Maybe the story we're being told isn't the whole story. Maybe it never was. The bigger question now, what else are they hiding? UFOs over Chernobyl. Simple explanations rarely suffice when history's darkest events intertwine with mysteries defying logic. In the shadowed hours leading up to the 1986 Chernobyl catastrophe, witnesses claim to have glimpsed unexplained lights silently hovering in the skies. Official denial swiftly dismissed these unsettling accounts as mere hallucinations or reflections, yet unsettling parallels echo decades earlier, thousands of miles away. In 1967, at Canada's remote Falcon Lake, another chilling encounter unfolded. A man confronted a mysterious craft and emerged bearing inexplicable radiation burns. Injuries disturbingly similar to those suffered by victims at Chernobyl years later. The striking resemblance begs troubling questions. Could these disparate incidents share an unknown link? Were these eerie visitors attempting to warn humanity, or were their intentions far darker, subtly orchestrating events beyond comprehension? Authorities remain suspiciously quiet, keen to relegate these unsettling connections to obscurity. Yet whispers persist, suggesting these encounters were no mere coincidence but sinister hints at forces beyond our understanding. Did something beyond our comprehension trigger or foresee the disaster at Chernobyl, quietly influencing humanity's fate? Now unsettling possibilities linger. Perhaps Chernobyl's true story extends beyond radiation leaks and governmental secrecy. Perhaps it conceals a deeper, more chilling mystery, an ominous presence that humanity has not fully acknowledged or understood. The real truth behind these UFO sightings remains hidden, guarded fiercely from public scrutiny. Yet one chilling reality endures. Somewhere within the tragedy of Chernobyl lies a secret far darker than radiation, waiting patiently for humanity to finally confront it. Toxic waters beneath Chernobyl. Time alone reveals the hidden darkness beneath humanity's gravest disasters. And beneath Chernobyl, a sinister truth flows silently, unseen. For decades, attention has remained fixed on the radioactive air above, but the deadliest threat may lie beneath the earth. Contaminated groundwater seeping secretly into water supplies, quietly extending the disaster's shadow. Since the catastrophic events of 1986, radioactive substances such as cesium, strontium, and plutonium have relentlessly penetrated the Earth, invisibly polluting rivers, lakes, and drinking water. This toxic menace, concealed beneath layers of soil, travels silently, poisoning ecosystems far beyond the confines of the exclusion zone. While the surface gradually healed, beneath it, a secret contamination persisted, dangerously underestimated and deliberately hidden. Yet, disturbingly, experts long understood this subterranean menace. In spite of knowledge of this silent threat, authorities maintained near-total public silence, either out of fear of widespread panic or perhaps more sinister motives. Their quiet complicity raises chilling questions. What else have officials deliberately obscured beneath a veil of reassuring silence? Scientists urgently warn of the unchecked advance of this underground danger, gradually drifting outward, edging closer toward populated towns, fertile farmlands, and unsuspecting lives. One undeniable reality remains. Beneath Chernobyl's poisoned soil, water continues to carry hidden secrets of the disaster. quietly extending a legacy whose full, horrifying scope we have yet to confront. Chernobyl's undying forest. What happens when nature itself defies the rules we believed absolute? Chernobyl's infamous red forest stands frozen, suspended between life and decay, a haunting landscape unlike anything science predicted. After the 1986 nuclear disaster, the forest turned blood red overnight, signaling death on an unprecedented scale. Yet decades later, the fallen trees refused to decompose, eerily preserved as though trapped within an invisible grasp. Initially, scientists assumed radiation had merely wiped out the microscopic organisms responsible for natural decay. But the deeper they studied, the more unsettling the truth became. Decomposition hadn't simply ceased, it had transformed, creating a grim spectacle of perfectly preserved radioactive logs, untouched by the normal processes of time. Now, researchers are left to confront an unsettling question. Has radiation somehow arrested the natural flow of life and death within the red forest? The answers remain elusive. This forest neither decays nor rejuvenates, stubbornly defying natural laws. In this silent, radioactive sanctuary, nature itself seems uncertain, clinging desperately to a limbo science cannot fully explain.
And now, it's time for the open discussion.
We all know the horror of Chernobyl, but what about the stories they kept hush hush? Check out this photo. Notice that shadowy figure she's holding? Creepy, right? Could it be connected to the strange events no one talks about? What's the real deal behind the disaster that shook the world? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to mention #OpenDiscussion. Chernobyl's dark amphibians. Nothing prepared scientists for the chilling discovery lurking within Chernobyl's contaminated wilderness. Amid the radioactive ruins of a landscape long abandoned by humanity, something extraordinary emerged. Amphibians darker than night itself, defying every expectation of nature's laws. These frogs, cloaked entirely in deep, unnatural blackness, bear unsettling witness to the silent adaptation unfolding in a radioactive environment. Rather than succumbing to the poison that saturates their habitat, they evolved with extraordinary speed, their bodies now rich with melanin, a protective pigment enabling survival where death should reign. Initially, scientists assumed this darkened skin was merely a random genetic anomaly, yet closer examination revealed an unsettling truth. These creatures deliberately developed a natural armor against lethal radiation, thriving in places humans dare not tread. Nature, forced into desperate measures, rewrote the rules of survival almost overnight, creating life forms suited to a poisoned world. But the implications are far more disturbing. If these amphibians evolved so rapidly, what other unseen transformations lurk in Chernobyl's shadowy recesses? Could darker, unknown creatures now silently stalk this radioactive wilderness, bearing mutations humanity is not yet ready to confront? This phenomenon isn't merely adaptation. It signals a fundamental shift in how life responds to humanity's darkest mistakes. Chernobyl's black frogs represent a haunting warning, a stark reminder that nature's resilience can produce life both wondrous and terrifying. Cancer-resistant wolves. You may think you've grasped the true horror of Chernobyl, but something far stranger stalks silently through its radioactive wilderness. Hidden deep within the contaminated exclusion zone, wolves roam, thriving mysteriously in places humans can barely survive. For decades, scientists assumed these creatures faced inevitable doom, condemned to suffer radiation-induced cancers. Yet, reality unveiled a chilling surprise. Recently, researchers made a startling discovery. These wolves are not merely surviving, they are flourishing, having developed genetic defenses that protect them from cancers, usually caused by lethal radiation. Their bodies carry unique mutations, powerful and unprecedented, shielding them from devastation science predicted inevitable. This adaptation isn't merely remarkable, it's profoundly unsettling. Scientists remain baffled, unable to fully comprehend how evolution accelerated so dramatically. Did relentless radiation pressure force nature to rewrite its genetic rulebook overnight? The existence of these cancer-resistant wolves raises troubling questions. If such profound evolution happened silently beneath humanity's gaze, what other unknown adaptations are quietly unfolding? What else might emerge from this radioactive wasteland, stronger and stranger than before? Perhaps nature's response to Chernobyl is a dark lesson about survival, illustrating evolution's hidden power when faced with devastation. These wolves may carry more than genetic mutations. They embody an unsettling warning that life itself can evolve beyond humanity's control, thriving in the shadows of our darkest legacy. Indeed, the wolves of Chernobyl have revealed a truth we may not be prepared to accept. Radioactive fungus. Radiation at Chernobyl isn't just destroying life. It's feeding something wild, something scientists barely get. Deep inside the busted reactor itself, a bunch of fungi decided to set up shop, vibing where literally everything else kicks the bucket. But wait, it gets freakier. These fungi aren't just chilling in radiation, they're munching it for breakfast. Through something called radiosynthesis, these weirdos turn deadly radioactive waves into energy like plants soaking up sunlight. They're thriving, multiplying in a spot where any sane organism would peace out in seconds. It's almost like Chernobyl cooked up a new breed of life, something that sees radiation not as poison, but as its go-to snack. And now scientists are low-key shook, asking the question, what if these radiation-loving fungi don't stay put? Even scarier, could these fungi hold some secret sauce that helps life survive nuclear disasters? Or are they just evolving into something seriously shady, waiting quietly to level up even further? Chernobyl's ecosystem isn't following the playbook. Nature's out here remixing the rules, creating life forms that feed off death itself. And honestly, if that doesn't send chills down your spine, nothing will. Plutonium's Vanishing Act. Someone better sound the alarm, because Chernobyl's deadliest secret ain't chilling in the dirt anymore. It's straight ghosting through the soil like nobody's business. Yeah, you heard right. Plutonium, literally one of the nastiest substances ever cooked up, is pulling off the ultimate disappearing act, silently sliding through soils and waters way faster than anyone thought possible. Scientists are legit freaking, because plutonium was supposed to stick around, locked tight to the soil, barely budging an inch over decades. But this radioactive troublemaker's breaking all the rules, dipping underground, spreading danger without anyone clocking exactly how or why. If plutonium can sneak out of the soil so unexpectedly, what's stopping it from eventually slipping beyond Chernobyl's borders, secretly poisoning spots we thought were safe and sound? This ain't your average science puzzle. It's radioactive hide-and-seek with terrifying stakes. This invisible wanderer might already be making moves, closer to us than we're ready to admit. So next time someone claims everything's all good and contained at Chernobyl, you'd better side-eye hard and wonder what other deadly truths might be quietly slipping through the cracks, just waiting for us to wake up and notice? Burning secret. Chernobyl's nightmare isn't history, it's back. And this time, it's literally on fire. Wildfires are raging through the exclusion zone again, but they're spreading way more than just smoke. Every time flames torch those radioactive woods, invisible particles buried deep for decades suddenly get unleashed, riding the wind like ghosts nobody asked for. These fires aren't just casually dropping by, they're heating up faster, burning harder, and rolling through more often, releasing radioactive dust like a twisted remix of the original disaster. Now, toxic particles are drifting quietly across Europe, serving silent danger vibes to millions who don't even know they're breathing it in. Scientists are shook, openly admitting they're losing sleep over this radioactive comeback. And what's even sketchier, authorities keep saying everything's chill, claiming they've got it under control. But honestly, who's buying that anymore? What else could be lurking deep inside Chernobyl's radioactive remains, just waiting for the next blaze to bust it loose? Truth is, maybe Chernobyl's disaster never fully clocked out. These wildfires might just be nature's grim way of saying the nightmare is still lit, reminding us loud and clear that some secrets never really burn out. And if that's not enough to make you side-eye, just ask yourself, what else might be lurking in the ashes, waiting patiently to haunt us again? Thanks for watching. Which mystery surprised you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Stay curious, stay alert, and remember, some secrets are buried deeper than others. Catch you next time.